Divine greetings, beloveds. Have you always wondered what it would be like to live in the age of Aquarius? Well, let's dive in. We are now living in a glimpse of what the age of Aquarius will bring us in our future generations will experience. Welcome, beloveds. I am Tanya Melendez, creator of Chart and Soul Astrology, founder of Cosmic Nautics. And let's get into this week's astrology. First off, this Astro Alchemy is really awakening us in such a profound way. We are experiencing, I'm sure you have heard this, the energetic shift of Neptune into Aries. And I want you to think about it in this way. I want you to imagine, and this is where we're going to go with the Age of Aquarius. So I want you to imagine that we have the depths of Neptune. Think about the trident. Think about the Little Mermaid, the story, right? Zeus in African mythology and African diaspora, it would be Yemaya. So coming from the depths, right? And in a tarot card, I would see it as the King of Cups, right? So the King of Cups, Neptune's energy. This is why you've been having so many vivid dreams. This is why they feel like, oh my gosh, this is really something. Neptune is activated now in Aries, which is like the Ace of Wands. Wands represent fire and spirit and passion and fire, right? In tarot. And so when you put that with that Aries energy, this is why it's activating our dreams, activating parts of us. Our deepest selves are coming up because we have needed to look at it. If you think about the last 13 to 14 years that we had Neptune in Pisces, this is how spirituality became a, trending thing. When I started, my path as the Black Psychic Librarian, as tarot life coach, and I was traveling around the world, I was called witch, I was called charlatan, I was called all kinds of things, and not in a positive way. And I knew if I stayed fast that I would continue to grow. Tarot Life Coach was born in 2009. Again, at that time, do you see what I'm saying? And at that time, there was nothing like that. Me bringing my life coaching to the energetics of tarot, which is why I went back to tarot and showing you what this looks like, because there is a strong bond between tarot and astrology. And so I digress for a moment. And so in sharing all of that, I wanted to share with you, again, this is where this energy comes from. I was going through the same experience when I quit my job as a librarian and said, I have to be a spiritual teacher. Do you see what I'm saying? So these are cycles and patterns. And this is why when we learn to embody astrology, we then can recognize, oh, this is a cycle and a pattern. Do you know where else you have cycles and patterns? I want you to take a moment and just breathe in. Where are you experiencing a cycle or a pattern that you want to shift? That is what this Age of Aquarius energy is. That's why we're seeing it out in the world when people are wanting to speak their minds. Mars energy is activated with Aquarius, wanting humanitarian, the protest vibes. And again, this is us coming from a spiritual place, not a mental place anymore. This is coming from a spiritual place, and the powers that be aren't prepared for this, us being this spiritual self. This is why the real AI is ancestral. It is astrology intelligence, ancestral intelligence, because they can't compete with that. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not looking for us to be anchored in our spirituality, because that is what the astrology is telling us. This is why so many of us are feeling the need to go against the system. It's definitely why I got off of Meta, and now I'm enjoying my life as a writer over there on Substack and soon on Medium. So make sure you are following. And so this is the beginning of just a glimpse of what, like I said, our great grandchildren will experience in the Age of Aquarius. And so this is our soul communication. This is why Past life regression energy is coming up so strongly. This is also why the dreams are so strong. If you feel what I'm saying, comment below. Spirit, comment below, your chart and soul is being activated. And this is why I'm so excited about sharing with you something upcoming. And so I'm only going to be sharing with my community. So make sure you're in our community. The links are in bio so you can join. And let's get into this week's color astrology. So the other part about this is if you feel like you're rearranging things, if you feel like things are really starting to shift for you internally and you're wanting to rearrange the furniture, you're wanting to rearrange your schedule, you're wanting to rearrange things, this is also Astro Alchemy working in on us and getting structure and order. We have 5 planets, beloved, in Aquarius. It is activating us to be our highest and best selves at all costs, really activating our spiritual selves. So let's get into this. And then I also want to invite you, please join our community. Follow me over there on Substack where I am sharing stars and stacks. And I just dropped the book Astrology for 2026. I'm adding more insight all week long. So stay tuned and tune in every week for your sign. So I was so shocked. This is today's January 28th Lavender Frost, quirky, smart, successful. And this personal wearing this color helps you believe in partnerships and trust in your accomplishments. Okay, tomorrow is Keepsake Lilac, and then on the 30th is Pale Mauve. So Keepsake Lilac, tender, funny, ambitious. Pale Mauve, hardworking, caring, prepared. And then we wrap up the month, Aquafire, devoted, big-hearted, and humanitarian. So do you see how I was just sharing that energy? So let me just share with you again. So here is today's Lilac Frost. Then we go to Keepsake Lilac. Here is Pale Mauve. Sorry, you're not getting a good color there. And then we go into Aquafire. Look at that. And then look at that for February. So as you can see, I am totally embracing the color astrology because of the impact that those colors are having. And so let me just share with you I shared a little bit of the Lavender Frost, but just really using color astrology to support you. Even my Labradorite, right? My Labradorite. So this Lavender Frost, if this is your birthday today, you are extremely bright and may become bored if you're not stimulated or surrounded by people who can keep up with your keen intellect. As I was sharing, this is again us really getting connected and rooted in. And so I want to invite you again, make sure you join on our community. Got something special going up there, a founding member experience. If you want to join, you have to be in the community right now, and then I'll be sharing it out in the public next week. But you're gonna want to join us as soon as possible because we've got a very special experience coming on the 2nd, the Imbolc, and this is the energy that is between the solstice, between the equinoxes, and with the upcoming eclipse energy, as well as the Mercury retrograde and the year of the fire horse and the Lunar New Year, aka the Chinese New Year. So you're going to want to stay tuned. I've got Feng Shui, I've got stars and stacks, book astrology, I've got it all coming for you. So make sure you are following me over there on Substack, also on Pinterest at Chart Soul Astrology, where I'll be sharing more of how you can start to use and really embody your stars. That's what I'm all about. And so how you can even wear your stars.